Welcome back, everyone. Rarely I get excited enough to make a new video on a new product, but these had me excited enough that I wanted to do this. And this is the Smith & Wesson M&P 9s, the new metal series, the competitor, and then the other one they just call the metal. I picked this one up in the store, actually, on a recommendation of the store owner. I've always been a fan of all metal guns over polymer, and wanted to give it a try. And to say I was pleasantly surprised would be somewhat of an understatement. I can shoot this firearm more accurately and more comfortably than any other polymer striker fired firearm I own. I'm really excited to see these all metal framed. They're made out of aluminum, of course, but adding some rigidity and a little bit of weight to the firearm just makes it easier for me to handle and to shoot accurately. Straight out of the box, 1.25" groups at about 20 yards on paper, just plinking around, and it was enough to make me go, I think I made the right decision. In so much so, in fact, I went and bought just the metal version of it. It's slightly different in a few respects, and we'll get into those, and I'll tell you which one I think is the better value here too, between the two. The competitor, right out of the box, you're looking at around you're sub 1,000 on both of these, but the competitor is going to run you about $100 more on average. They are so similar to each other, however, I will say this, that the frames and barrels will swap and function just fine on each other. The frames basically are exactly the frame. The only biggest difference is in the slide in the barrel. The competitor, of course, has the expanded mag well down here, but I'm sure that could probably be added to the metal if you wanted to. Looking at them internally, they're exactly the same, just got a little different hold down method on them. The tool and hold down lever there are actually a little bit different, but I'm sure that could all interchange. They both come with slide cuts for your optics. They're optic ready. They both have 7 plates for just virtually any red dot you might want to put on these, any optic you might want to have on them. They both come with the several sizes of back straps. I believe there's 4 different back straps. These are the medium sizes that they come equipped with from the factory. I tried the small because I have smaller hands, but the medium just filled my hands quite a bit better, and so I went back with them. Even though the texturing is somewhat, to me, aggressive, some people think it's not. To me, it did burn into my hand a little bit in extended shooting sessions, but it's not to the point where it's worth it to not have that texturing. And so without it, this metal is exceptionally slick, particularly on this one. This is an older gun made back in November of 2022. This one's pretty fresh, just made in May of 2023. So there is you notice there's a slight color difference. I don't know if it shows up on the camera or not. The older gun is a little bit darker. The finishes are not absolutely perfect. There are some little bit of actually runs, and they're very difficult to find, and a few little color striations in it, particularly on the gun, which would be one of the more the first productions of it. The top, so beyond that, and then of course the extended mag release on the competitor, it does have an extended mag release in the frame also. So those are the main two differences, the mag well and the mag release on the competitor from just the metal. The slides begin to differ though. Of course we have a longer barrel we jump up a 3/4 of an inch in length and barrel length on the competitor, and then lightning cutouts. The weights are just 1 ounce from each other, with the lighter gun actually being the longer barreled gun. It's 1 ounce lighter, about 30 ounces and 29 ounces. Those are factory measurements. The competitor also, it has of course fiber optic sights on the front. These guns have been safety checked, they're all okay. Besides the lightning cutouts and a little different style of scallop on your slide. I find both of them to be fairly effective, and I've always found their original M&Ps to be quite attractive, setting them apart from the other blocky looking polymer guns. But in particular in this one, it's quite attractive, quite aggressive, works well. The flat flake face triggers work fantastic. Now, according to Smith & Wesson's website, the trigger on the competitor is tweaked a little bit because it is a performance center firearm. I personally think this trigger is actually better. The reason being, they are both right at 4.5 pounds. They both break almost identical. This one on the competitor, I don't know if I got an exceptionally poor one for a competitor or an exceptionally good one for the metal, but it has a slight amount of grit in it. Just a slight amount, not enough to make me worry about it. It's just holding them both side by side and pulling the trigger side by side. This one is slightly better than this one. And that's the only way you could probably tell it, is pulling one right after the other one. Now, as far as value goes, since they're so identical, with the exception of the longer barrel, and I get extreme accuracy out of this firearm. This one is no slouch either. This one, in spite of being $100 more, I'm going to consider it the better value. Because you get not only the extended mag release, the enhanced mag well, the lightened slide, and the longer barrel, and the fiber optic sights. It's a blacked out rear sight, I might add, whereas on the metal it's a standard 3-dot style sight. No problem with either one. I really like the fiber optics with my old 63-year-old eyes. But in addition, you also receive 2 magazines with the metal, but with the competitor you receive 4 magazines, and that alone almost makes up for the price, besides adding in the other enhancements that are present on the firearm: sights, longer barrel length, supposedly upgraded trigger, although I have yet to see that in this gun. It is the grittiness is coming out of the firearm as it gets fired. It's much better than it was. In fact, they're almost equal, but this one still has a touch of a little bit of grit in it, but it seems to be working itself out, and they're becoming very much equal. You get a lighter firearm also with this one. Like I say, just 1 ounce. When you're talking a 30-ounce gun, 1 ounce is not going to be that much greater. The reason I have the second one is it is a more compact size. The slide length, of course, if we can get them lined up here for you, is quite a bit shorter. We can get them, there we go. You can see that it is quite a bit shorter with that barrel. It is also narrower on the competitor. It is tapered down and milled down a little bit fire, and then you can see a little bit of that color differentiation too. This older gun has a much more pleasing darker gray color than the newer one, which is more of a battleship gray to my eye. I don't know if it shows up on there or not. Not only that, you also get a much better case, nice large plastic case with this one, where this just comes with a standard small Smith & Wesson cardboard box. This actually makes it fine range box to carry this in. Holds all 4 magazines well, and all the accessories and whatnot too. But there we have it. There's the 2 medals. I just can't tell you how pleased I am to see Smith & Wesson come on out with these. Superb accuracy. The extra weight doesn't bother me a bit. What I would like to see, and I hope, is the other 2 ends of these. This is considered a full size. However, it's just slightly larger than a Glock 19. It is a little larger, but just a bit. But I would like to see perhaps like the shields, particularly my favorite, the Shield 45, M&P 45. I would love to see that in an all-metal gun. So there we have it. The metal series, my opinions on them, and thanks for watching, and I do urge you to go check these out. I think you would be pleasantly surprised. If you don't mind a little bit of extra weight for a little more recoil management, this is the way to go. They got my vote. I'm selling my Glocks, I think. Thanks for watching.